The first time I saw Princess Aelira of the Phyrexian Empire, she was not standing on a throne or surrounded by guards. She was lying broken in the wreckage of a fallen skyship, her silver blood staining the black sand beneath 3 alien moons. The Phyrexian Empire was known across 13 star systems as unstoppable. Their fleets bent planets into submission, their rulers were spoken of like gods, and their royal bloodline was said to be flawless, engineered over millennia to be superior to all other species. Yet there she was, bleeding, alone, and looking at me like I was her last hope. I was not a soldier. I wasn't even supposed to be on that planet. I was a human salvage runner, scraping a living by diving into post-battle debris fields for leftover tech the empires didn't bother to retrieve. When the Imperial War between Virex and the Heliox Collective erupted over the planet Kaeldar, I stayed far away. Or I tried to. My ship's NAV systems glitched after a solar flare, and I crash-landed on the dark side of the planet, right into the aftermath of a royal ambush. The silence after the crash was worse than the explosion. Broken metal hissed. Fires flickered. I crawled out of my ship, expecting death or capture within minutes. Instead, I found her. Princess Aelira lay half-buried under a slab of fractured hull plating. One of her arms was twisted at an impossible angle. Her breathing was shallow, each breath releasing a faint blue glow from her lips. Her eyes, bright, luminous gold, locked onto mine. "Human," she whispered, voice trembling. "You must help me." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. The Phyrexian Empire had enslaved entire civilizations. Humans were considered fragile, emotional, disposable. Yet their princess was asking me for help. "I don't have medical tech," I said, backing away. "I'm just a scavenger." Her fingers tightened around my sleeve with surprising strength. "You have something far rarer," she said. "You have choice." That was when the ground shook. Heliox drones swept across the battlefield, scanning for survivors. If they found her, the war would end instantly, with the execution of the Empire's heir. Against every instinct screaming at me to run, I pulled the metal slab off her body. I didn't know then that this single decision would rewrite the fate of an empire. The weight of a crown. Getting her to my ship nearly killed me. Phyrexians were taller and denser than humans, their bodies reinforced with biometal lattices. Every step felt like carrying a dying star. But I couldn't leave her. Not after the way she looked at me, like the universe had narrowed down to one fragile possibility. Inside my ship, I did what I could. I sealed wounds with emergency foam, splinted her arm, rerouted power to stabilize the atmosphere for her physiology. She drifted in and out of consciousness, whispering fragmented words in a language older than my species. Hours passed. When she finally woke, her gaze sharpened instantly, assessing her surroundings like a battlefield. "You did not abandon me," she said softly. "I thought about it," I replied honestly. She smiled faintly. "That honesty is why humans frighten empires." As she recovered, she told me the truth. The ambush had not been the Heliox's doing alone. Members of her own court had betrayed her, lords who feared the reforms she intended to enact once she ascended the throne. She planned to dismantle the caste systems, end genetic supremacy, offer alliance instead of conquest. For that, they had tried to kill her. "If I return now," she said, staring at the stars through my viewport, "I will die." "Then don't go back," I said. She turned to me slowly. "If I do not, millions will." That was the burden of her crown. And somehow, it had landed on my shoulders too. Hunted across the stars. We jumped systems using my ship's outdated drive, avoiding Imperial routes and Heliox-controlled space. Every jump tore at my ship and my nerves. The Phyrexian Empire issued a silent directive: locate the princess. Secure or terminate all unauthorized witnesses. That meant me. Assassin drones tracked our energy signatures. Mercenaries hunted us for Imperial bounties. Even neutral ports turned hostile the moment her presence was detected. During one narrow escape, our ship took heavy fire. Power failed. Life support flickered. I prepared for death. Instead, Illyra crawled from her seat, placed her palm against the ship's core, and interfaced directly with it, her veins glowing as she rerouted energy through her own body. When she collapsed afterward, nearly lifeless, I realized something terrifying. She was sacrificing herself every time she used her royal abilities. The Empire designed us to rule, she admitted later, not to survive without it. Her people had engineered perfection and trapped themselves inside it. I repaired the ship while she rested. In the quiet moments, we talked about Earth, about Virex, about how empires convince themselves that domination is order. Somewhere between fear and exhaustion, something else formed. Trust. The broken princess. We reached the outer ring, a lawless zone beyond Imperial reach. There, Illyra's condition worsened. The injuries she'd sustained were deeper than I'd realized. Her internal lattice was fracturing. She lay on the bunk, shivering, crown resting beside her like a relic of a past life. If I die here, she said weakly, the Empire will crown my cousin. He will burn entire systems to prove his strength. I clench my fists. Then we won't let you die. There is one way, she said, but it requires something no Phyrexian has ever trusted. What? A human. Her plan was madness. We would broadcast her survival, live, unfiltered, using ancient Phyrexian succession protocols that required a non-imperial witness. If completed, it would force a binding council trial and expose the traitors. But the broadcast had to be done from the Imperial beacon, the most heavily defended structure in Phyrexian space. If we fail, I said, we die. If we succeed, she replied, the Empire changes. She reached for my hand, her grip weak but resolute. I am broken, she whispered, but I am counting on you. Storming the beacon. We didn't sneak in. We crashed. My ship tore through the beacon's outer ring, alarms screaming across the station. Guards swarmed. Lasers scorched the hull. I carried her through fire and smoke, her weight heavier than ever, not physically, but in what she represented. At the central chamber, Imperial guards blocked our path. I raised my weapon, hands shaking. Illyra straightened in my arms. Stand down, she commanded. Her voice echoed through the chamber, not loud, but absolute. They froze. The broadcast activated. She named the traitors, revealed genetic manipulation records, exposed the lies of divine superiority. She showed the Empire her broken body and spoke of a future without chains. The Council watched. So did the galaxy. When the broadcast ended, silence fell. Then the guards lowered their weapons. The ending, a crown-reforged Princess Illyra, did not die. But she did not rule as she once intended either. The council trials shattered the old hierarchy. Entire noble houses were dissolved. Genetic supremacy was outlawed. Phyrexian citizens saw their rulers bleed for the first time and realized they were not gods. Illyra refused the title of Empress. Instead, she became something new, a speaker, a bridge between empires. As for me, I was offered anything: wealth, land, power. I declined. I returned to my ship, preparing to leave Phyrexian space for good. Before I departed, she met me one last time. No crown. No guards. Just Alira. You changed everything, she said. So did you, I replied. She smiled. The Empire will remember you as the human who carried a broken princess. I looked at the stars. I'll remember you as someone who trusted one. As my ship jumped to hyperspace, I realized the truth. Empires don't fall to weapons. They fall when the ones they call insignificant refuse to let them stay broken. And somewhere in the vastness of space, a former princess was rebuilding an empire, not on fear, but on trust.